Did you know that in the shadowed valleys of the Iran-Israel border, a sniper simply ceased to exist? ***. OMID FARZA was his name, a ghost among Iran's most lethal marksmen, stationed in the treacherous terrain near the Golan Heights. With more than 70 confirmed eliminations carved into his legacy, he operated as a lone wolf, trusting no one but the scope of his rifle. His fellow soldiers spoke of him in hushed tones, describing how he could remain motionless for 18 hours straight, how his breath would sink with the mountain winds, how his heartbeat would slow to match the rhythm of distant artillery. Command had deployed him to intercept enemy movements along the contested ridgeline. For 3 weeks, he had been their invisible guardian, picking off targets with surgical precision from positions that seemed impossible to reach. His spotter, Reza, often joked that OMID could shoot the wings off a fly in a sandstorm. Then came that fog-choked evening when gunfire erupted across the hills. The mist rolled in like a living thing, thick and suffocating. Radio chatter became fragmented. Muzzle flashes lit up the gloom like deadly fireflies. When dawn broke and the fog lifted, OMID had vanished into thin air. No corpse. No blood trail. Only his weapon remained, pristine, fully loaded, standing upright in the earth like a grave marker deliberately placed. The final radio crackle from his unit sent chills through command. He's no longer targeting the enemy, he's observing us. Then silence. Complete, eternal silence. Strange phenomena began plaguing the sector within days of OMID's disappearance. What started as isolated incidents soon became a pattern that no military manual could explain. Reconnaissance teams glimpsed a phantom silhouette prowling the ridgelines, always at the edge of vision, never quite there when they turned for a direct look. Sergeant Hassan swore he saw the figure standing on an impossible ledge, motionless as stone, before it melted back into the rock face. Lieutenant Karimi reported movement in his peripheral vision during 3 consecutive patrols, each time accompanied by the distinct metallic click of a rifle bolt being worked. Military drones, equipped with the latest surveillance technology, would malfunction and go dark whenever they approached that cursed area. Their cameras would show nothing but static before the signal cut out entirely. Recovery teams would find the devices crashed miles from their last known positions, their memory banks wiped clean except for fragments of impossible footage, shadows moving against the light, shapes that defied identification. Most unsettling were the voices. Soldiers on patrol claimed to hear their own names drifting through the crackling static of their radios, spoken in voices that shouldn't exist. The words came at 3 a.m. during the quietest hours, clear and distinct despite the interference. Some reported hearing conversations between themselves and comrades who had died months earlier. Others swore they heard OMID's voice giving coordinates to targets that weren't there. The zone became forbidden ground. No unit dared return. Even seasoned veterans who had survived years of combat refused assignments in that sector. Local villagers whispered a new name across the borderlands, the Watcher. In the tea houses and market squares, stories spread faster than wildfire through dry grass. Old Mahmoud, who had lived through 5 wars in these mountains, claimed the hills themselves had chosen OMID for a purpose beyond human understanding. He spoke of ancient burial grounds beneath the contested peaks, places where civilizations had fallen and their secrets had been buried with them. The earth remembers, he would say, stroking his gray beard. Sometimes it needs an guardian to keep the old wounds from opening. Theories multiplied with each telling. Some believed OMID had witnessed ancient horrors buried deep in those battlegrounds, artifacts from forgotten empires, weapons that preceded gunpowder by millennia, secrets that should have remained entombed forever. The more superstitious villagers pointed to the strange lights that danced over the ridgeline on moonless nights, casting shadows that moved independently of their sources. Others were convinced he had transformed into something beyond human understanding, a sentinel caught between the world of the living and something far older. They spoke of how the mountain eagles no longer flew over his territory, how the wild dogs would whimper and retreat when the wind carried unfamiliar scents from the heights. Now he moves through eternal silence, serving neither flag nor vengeance, but pursuing something far more mysterious, a deadly equilibrium that only he comprehends. The war rages on around his domain, but that one sector remains untouched, as if held in suspension by an invisible hand. The locals have learned to leave offerings at the base of the mountain, not for protection, but out of respect for whatever OMID has become. Because in the end, some watchers choose their posts, and others are chosen by them.